It appears Julius Randle might only be out 3 weeks after a worrisome shoulder dislocation against the Miami Heat, and this is huge news. This is awesome for the Knicks, so we're going to talk about this. So what's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here, and we're going to waste no time jumping right into it because Julius Randle will be okay in the near future. Knicks PR just put out that Randle dislocated his right shoulder and will be reevaluated in 2 to 3 weeks. Now, if you have any experience watching people get injured in sports at all, because you've been watching sports for a while or playing sports, it wasn't hard to tell that Julius Randle dislocated his shoulder. That wasn't the surprising part. The surprising part is that there was no other damage done. There's a lot of muscles in the shoulder. We just saw Ja Morant go down and have his season get ended because his labrum was torn after a subluxated shoulder injury. So, clearly, this is huge news for the Knicks. Their season would have really been in trouble had they lost Randle for the rest of it, but it seems as if Randle will be back by March the latest. The All-Star break is coming up, so he should get around a month off, and this is such good news for the Knicks that he will only be out for this short of a time, as it did initially feel like there was a chance he could miss the rest of the season, and it would have been hard to imagine the Knicks getting out of the first round without Julius Randle on the team. I know some people don't think he's a great playoff performer, but if you look at Julius Randle and if you look at the way he plays, the Knicks need his ball dominance because outside of him, the only other person who's really controlling the tempo and holding the ball a lot is Jalen Brunson, who would have faced a ton of double teams without Randle on the court to aid him in this year's upcoming playoffs. Even if the Knicks are going to make a trade for someone off the bench, like a replacement for Emmanuel Quickley, say it's a Jordan Clarkson or a Malcolm Brogdon, someone like that, they still need Julius's presence for a forward who can kind of dominate the ball. And Randle's been excellent this year. He's averaging 24 points per game, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, while shooting 47% from the field. He should be an all-star. Also, if you look at all those awards up in the top right of this basketball reference graphic, you would see that all of them happened with the New York Knicks. Randle has played his best basketball of his career with the Knicks by far. He's having one of his better seasons. The man has been great for the team. He's one of the better Knicks all time in these 5 years. And that's only going to grow as time goes on. I don't really think Randle's going anywhere anytime soon. So we'll most likely see Randle stick around for a while. And because of that, we need him on the floor. And that's exactly what's going to happen. Now, yeah, he's going to miss a month. And this month is going to suck to not have him. But also, it'll be fine. And I don't want to say it's a plus side, but it's not the end of the world because now Randle gets a month to rest and recuperate, which is important around this time of the season. We're in the dog days of the NBA where people are dealing with lingering injuries. I assume something else is hurting Randle outside of just the shoulder injury. He now gets to rest. He has a lot put on his plate every night, so now he'll get a chance to sort of take a breather, kind of get his rhythm going again, and not that he fell out of rhythm, but he'll kind of just like get a chance to refresh himself and not have to go play grueling physical basketball every night this season, especially with the playoffs coming up. You don't really want him to miss time later and fall out of a groove like what happened last season. Also, he was on that hindered ankle to begin with, but it was also just a matter of Randle could tire out because he does a lot for the Knicks, and now there will be less of a concern for that. And Carmelo Anthony actually did highlight that on the 7 p.m. in Brooklyn podcast. As he said, Julius Randle just injured his shoulder. Get that right. Take your time with that. But I think that might be best for him because you need a break. During the season, you don't get time to recuperate and recover and let your body heal. And as Knicks Memes pointed out, interesting point from Melo on the podcast with Mero and Mikal Bridges. Maybe a couple weeks out for the shoulder will give Randle's legs some much-needed rest. Look, we know Randle plays huge minutes with the Knicks, and those minutes have high usage rates, so it's very nice to see that Randle's kind of taking some time to himself and really going to relax and just do his thing and just take a breather. It's really important for a guy like Randle to be able to do that because they're going to need him in the playoffs. He has a suspect playoff history, and he wants to prove people wrong, and I believe that he can, and I think this could sort of help as long as it's not a lingering shoulder injury. Brian Windhorst did point out on his podcast that sometimes shoulders don't always heal with a dislocated shoulder. If you don't get an operation, yeah, it'll go back to normal, but the chances of redislocation will skyrocket back up. I can say from personal experience, I dislocated my kneecap, never got surgery on it. It happened 3 other times. Not a fun thing. Hurts a lot. So I do understand that Windhorst has a very valid point there, and it is something to be careful of, and I do wonder if it's going to hinder the rest of Julius' season, because this year he's played like an all-star, and he should be named one tonight at 7 p.m., though I'm going to let you guys in on a secret. He's not going to be. Brunson obviously is, but Randle's not going to be an all-star. I just don't see that one happening, and he's going to be a snub, and it's going to suck, and Knicks fans are going to be up in arms, except for the few Knicks fans that just despise Julius Randle and want nothing to do with him for some weird reason, but I can't read minds. So, if you look at the Knicks, since 2019-2020, they have an 11-9 record without him. He has been a staple for this team as long as anyone, except for maybe Mitchell Robinson, but Randle has done more for the Knicks than Mitch has throughout their careers. So clearly the Knicks can win without Randle, but they're not the same team, and obviously if you go back to those teams, yeah, a lot of them were bad and Randle-centric, but like, they still do need him to be at their best. So that'll be important to see. Obviously, though, Jalen Brunson is a superstar, and he has covered well for Randle in the 4 games he's played where Randle has not been with the team, as he's averaged 34 points, 8 assists, and 3.5 rebounds in the 4 games that he's played on the Knicks without Julius. So that's obviously important to note, that Jalen Brunson obviously steps up his game, and he's not the only one. With the 2 games that he has missed this season, Julius Randle that is, Dante DiVincenzo has averaged 30.5 points, 5.5 rebounds, and 4.5 assists in these 2 games. Now, obviously, it's a very tiny sample size, but Dante DiVincenzo has stepped up in a massive way since Randle went down, and given the Knicks the scoring punch that they need without him, I don't know when Brunson and DiVincenzo became prime Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, but I am so here for it. Watching DiVincenzo ball out has been awesome, and I hope it does continue throughout, whether it's tonight and just future games after that, honestly, without Randle. We need DiVincenzo. He's having the best season of his career. He's been the Knicks sniper, and clearly he's showing that he can be much more. Tibbs has unlocked this guy. Shout out to Tom Thibodeau for doing that, and shout out to Dante DiVincenzo for putting in the work to get here. Both DiVincenzo and Brunson have been so helpful for the team since that injury from Randle. But hopefully Randle gets back. We'll have DiVincenzo still be able to ball out, which will be nice. And also DiVincenzo has done this without OG Anunoby there too. So there's just a next man up mentality with the Knicks. And once OG gets back, we'll see how that kind of plays into everything. And then once Randle gets back, we're going to realize that we got 4 guys who can really explode for a lot of points on the Knicks. And that's going to be dangerous come playoff time. So it's huge that Randle's going to come back, because obviously the defenses are going to be more focused on him than DiVincenzo and OG, which is going to open up opportunities for them to hit a lot of threes and do their thing come playoff time, especially because they're both really good defenders, and we are going to have them matched up against some of the other team's best players. I mean, for instance, if we play the Cavs, OG is probably going to be guarding Donovan Mitchell, but most likely DiVincenzo will be the one tasked with guarding Darius Garland, or if the Knicks at all run into the Celtics, there's a very good chance that when OG is guarding Jason Tatum, Dante DiVincenzo could be the man to try to stop Jaylen Brown. So clearly OG is very important defensively, but Dante DiVincenzo's defense is almost as important as the elite offense that he has brought the Knicks this season. And hopefully it all works out, guys. I can't wait for the playoffs. I can't wait for Julius Randle to be back. And I can't wait for you guys to experience more Knicks Digest videos. So like this video, comment down below your thoughts. Are you relieved Randle's coming back? Do you think DiVincenzo can keep this up while Randle's gone? What's the deal with that? What's the deal with OG Anunoby? What are you expecting from him to do without Randle there, with OG potentially kind of taking some second scoring option nights? It's going to be very interesting to see. You guys don't want to miss any Knicks Digest content. Have a great day, guys, and go Knicks.